Bless you. Busy lady. I got on a few minutes early because I knew how busy you were, and hopefully we just zoom right through and have a good time.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's what it's all about. Having a good
I
time,
know.
right?
I know. It was so much fun having you on our show. It was a blast. I have to edit that episode. Yeah, it's next on my list to do.
Well, thank you so much for having me on your show. That because it was. I loved meeting Jason, and yeah. So maybe we can collaborate again sometime. I'd love it.
Absolutely. So what should we talk about today? I don't remember what we said we were talking about. Stress?
It doesn't. You know what? I thought this is for basically what you wanted to do in the promo was give ways to manage stress, including meditation for people who don't think they can meditate. So, but bottom line is, let's see where it goes, huh?
Absolutely. Totally. How much time do we have?
As much as you can give me. No, 30
okay.
30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Cool.
Like I said, I schedule an hour and a half just in case there are tech issues. Yep. Like me not being able to hear you because I put it on the wrong thing.
Yeah, no problem. Perfect.
All right.
Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
So do you have that time still?
Yeah. I don't have an hour and a half, but I definitely have 30 to 45 minutes. Yeah.
All right, cool. Wonderful. Well, I know you're a busy lady with lots of things going on, so we'll get to it if that works for you.
Sounds good.
All righty. All right, I'm going to get your bio up here. There we go. Hey, welcome to the Awesome Life podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host. And at Awesome Life, what we try and do is help our listeners find ways, maybe inspiration, maybe just some tips on how to enjoy life more. Find what works for them. And today I am so excited. I've been looking forward to this podcast more than you'll ever know, with Kathy Gruver. She is an award-winning author, a professional speaker, a coach for over 30 years. She has been working in the mind, body, medicine, and human behavior field. She has a West Coast mentality on an East Coast delivery for humorous, down-to-earth, and engaging style. She has captivated audiences on 4 continents, 3 cruise ships, and a handful of islands. She's been true honor to have her be on at least 2 TED Talks. I am so impressed. Kathy has written 8 books and gotten 12 awards. She's hosted on a huge series of a television series on her first book. And the cool thing is that she has developed a stress reduction program for the US military. And she co-hosts the Fire and Earth podcast, which I was honored to be a part of this past week. She has written many articles. She's appeared on the Dr. Phil show, and she's earned a PhD in natural health and studied mind and body medicine at the famed Benson Henry Institute for Mind, Body Medicine at Harvard. But the thing that drew me to Kathy is she is fun. She loves the same things I do. I know we were meant to meet, and creating fun, releasing stress is the way to go. And Kathy does it by flying a trapeze and playing Dungeons and Dragons. So welcome, Kathy. It's such a pleasure to have you here today.
Thanks, Karen. I'm so happy to be here.
So you have done everything. You have been in entertainment field, and obviously we have actually, Kathy and I met on Facebook, and we are actually LinkedIn. And when we connected, it was like, wow, I feel like I know this lady. We have such similar backgrounds. But I mean, even Dr. Phil, I have never been on Dr. Phil, but I have been trained by his teacher. So I'm going to take that. So I was over the moon happy, and that she agreed to be with us today on Awesome Life Podcast. And Kathy is amazing with stress reduction and finding easy, simple ways that people can release that stress, because stress is not a real good thing all the time. Sometimes good stress gets you going, but bad stress, well, you tell me, Kat.
Yeah, I mean, we all look at stress differently. Stress is a perception. It's a perception that things are going to be bigger than what we could handle. Because if it was something we could handle, we would just do it. It would be that next thing, right? So the stress is this idea that something big is looming that we're not going to be able to manage. Or it's a threat. We're walking through the woods, a bear jumps out. We have that very clear fight or flight response. But this fight or flight response, we don't need that in everyday life. We don't need that for the taxes are due. We don't need that for the boss wants to see us Monday. We don't need that for, the bacon's burning. We have these huge reactions. And I literally was just getting a text from a girlfriend before we jumped on the air, talking about her husband and this reaction that he had in the middle of the night and actually just stormed out of bed. Rather than communicating with her about something, he had this gigantic emotional reaction and actually left without even saying anything. And so we're kind of talking about this reactivity and the stress and this perception of things, and how reactivity is what's going to get us in trouble with communication, with flipping the guy off on the freeway. That's all reactivity. So a little bit of stress, yes, fuels us. Some people are more stress hardy than others. I tend to be able to handle quite a bit of stress, but other people can't, so we have to not only be patient with ourselves, we have to be patient with others and how they perceive and handle their stress too. So.
Yeah, I expect probably, I always felt like I could handle stress pretty well. And then all of a sudden I couldn't, which is basically where I started getting into this world. I wasn't always into this world. I just said, what is, let it be. Sometimes it's harder to do. And when I recognized that, when I was caring for my parents, two parents in their 90s with dementia, full time, keeping them at home. And it was like, I don't even know who this person is who is taking care of her parents, who is handling this. And that is really when I started getting into this world of, all right, find out ways to reduce stress. So is this something that you learn along the way, or is this something that you just have always known?
Yeah. Me personally, or people in general?
You personally.
Oh, no, I learned it along the way. I'm an only child. My mom got sick when I was about 12 or 13 and died when I was 18. So I was in a house with a lot of kind of chaos. And I've spoken to a lot of like at-risk teens or teens that have been dealing with like broken homes and things like that. And I remember the first time I went in there and I thought, why are these, sort of lower economic kids going to listen to me? I'm just like, to them, rich white girl, right? And what I realized is I was in the same household they were. It wasn't abuse and it wasn't alcohol, but I never knew if I was going to walk in the door and find my mom, well, frankly, dead, on the floor if she fell, vomiting, took too much pain meds and is yelling, so there was just this sort of chaos in the house. So I think that actually trained me to be a little less reactive. But some people could have gone the absolute other direction. We hear all these things about, I was bullied and now I'm a gang member. And, it's like, I was bullied too. I don't go on shooting sprees. So, it's so interesting. I think we shoot out of the womb a certain way. And then I also think the way we were raised and the environment that we were in helps train our brain of whether we're going to be reacting or responding, what we perceive as stress. My dad was a huge risk taker. He was very funny, very fun. The first one to run out on the street and play football with us, the first one to jump off the high dive, and the first one to encourage me to do those things. So I tried to mimic and mirror that behavior. So I think through him, I got more of a stress hardiness than I did through other parts of my family that were a little more negative, a little more worrywart, that sort of thing. So I think it's a combination of things. And when I started working on my PhD and I decided I was going to do mind-body medicine specifically for my dissertation, I realized, oh, geez, I'd better learn how to do this stuff, right? I was terrible at meditating. I was very type A. And here I'm writing this whole paper about, the benefits of all this stuff, and I'm not doing any of it. And I didn't really learn to meditate well until I went to Harvard. And they actually taught me how to meditate, to do the mini meditation, which is something that I still teach. So, I had misconceptions about all this stuff. I did visualize, I did affirmations. I was a huge fan of Louise Hay. So I knew that sort of thing through all the massage work that I did. But I can recall with some exes where I was definitely reactive and not handling the stress and not communicating well. And, we learn the stuff as we go, I think. I hope.
Well, that's it. As long as we keep learning, right? And forgiving ourselves. And forgiving ourselves. That's a big part of being able to respond as opposed to react.
Absolutely. And I think recognizing patterns, and it's really interesting. I divorced my husband about 3 years ago. And I literally, after we parted and I got into my new little house and I was dating, and I'm like, I want to learn from every experience I've had. And I literally made a spreadsheet of every guy I had dated or was in a long-term relationship with, and what their personality was like, how I reacted to their personality, what my fault was, what responsibility I took in the relationship ending, how I handled the breakup. Did I wanted to analyze that whole thing. This was my Capricorn part that was like, let's figure this out. And I realized that I was in this pattern of picking not the healthiest choice of partners for myself, which I recognized, and now I'm in probably I'm definitely in the best relationship I've ever had. Very different type than the rest of the people on this list. So it was interesting. Like, to me, it's like there's no wasted time, there's no failure, there's just learning from these things and growing. That's why we have these experiences on this earth, is to learn, grow, evolve, and hopefully be better.
Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. And basically, when I have a feeling or a theory that when we stop learning, we die. So being aware and being able to learn from your past mistakes, is that what you would call them? Or
I don't think
the experience.
Yeah, I would say I don't think
past experience.
I don't think there's necessarily mistakes, because I think everything unfolds exactly the way it's supposed to. And that day you miss the bus, that's the day the bus has the accident, or you make a turn and you don't know why, and there was something that happened over there. I really do think everything is, we're kind of right where we're supposed to be. We can make all these great choices and still end up learning the things we're supposed to. So I don't know if there are any mistakes. I'm jury's out on that one.
Yeah. They are in our world often called mistakes. That's all.
Yeah.
They're nothing bad, just a mistake, right?
Yeah. Well, and to that, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, as I say, there's the parable of, the farmer. I use this all the time. People who've seen my talks multiple times go, oh, she's telling the farmer parable again. He has one son and one horse and this huge field, and the villagers gather around and say, oh, what a shame. You have all this land, all this potential, but you only have one son and one horse, so you can only farm so much of it. And the farmer says, we'll see. And the next day, all these wild horses show up on his land. And the villagers gather around. They go, oh, this is so great. You now have all these horses. You can farm so much of your land. And the farmer says, we'll see. The son gets on the next day to help, plow the field with some of these new horses. The wild horse throws him. The son breaks his arm. The villagers gather around and go, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. You're not going to be able to farm anything. What a catastrophe. And the farmer says, we'll see. The next day, the army comes by and they take all of the able-bodied men off to war. And because the son had broken his arm, he was not taken, and he got to stay at home with his father. And the villagers gathered around and said, oh, thank God your son broke his arm. And the farmer says, we'll see. It's like we deem these things positive or negative, and we don't ultimately know what the ending is until we get to the ending. So it's like, we're so quick to judge these. This is bad, this is good, this is negative, this is positive. I don't think we ultimately know.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Everything comes in its own time, and everything for a reason. Everything for a reason. And whether we ever understand what that reason is, I look at my parents, you know, why did I have to leave my home, my family, my husband, and travel to their home? Well, that was my choice. Why did I feel the way I did? Well, I learned from it. And I think it all led me to where I am today, to be able to respond to things, to be able to handle that stress, to recognize the differences in people. Although, honestly, I do feel that I was born with that thing. I remember my mom always saying, "There's no one better than you, Karen." And I'm saying, that may be, she's just trying to build up my self-esteem, which was very low.
Sure.
But what I tried to get across to her is that may be the case. No one's better than me, but no one is less than me either. And
yeah, that's a great way to frame that. Yeah.
So anyway, so tell me, you have developed lots of different ways, and you mentioned to relieve stress, and you mentioned meditation. Now, for a lot of people, they say, I don't know how to meditate, including myself. And tell me what your thoughts about meditation are.
Yeah. If you would have asked me 10 or 11 years ago, I would have said, it's stupid. It's a waste of time. I suck at it. I don't know how to do it. Everyone keeps telling me I should do it. And you can't should all over people. You know, it's like, you should do this. You should do that. People block you out immediately. And so I had these misconceptions. I didn't know what finger to touch. My tongue went somewhere. I don't know. You had to look back here with your eyes closed, always gave me a headache. And then, you know, I'm a dancer. So telling me to sit still is a nightmare. My brain goes a mile a minute. I'm from the East Coast originally. So telling me to shut my brain off, ridiculous. And so I would try really hard to meditate, and I'd sit down, I'd pick a finger and hope for the best. And I'd either go into my to-do list. It would remind me that I had to do something, which I thought was great. Because if, you know, as a triple Capricorn, if I remembered I had to call that guy back, I thought, wait, yeah, I love meditation. Or something would distract me. A thought would take me and I'd be off on this fantasy about the new car I was going to have, or the acting role I was going to get, or, you know, the dinner that we were going to go have, or the vacation that I was going to take. And I didn't know what I was doing. And when I got to Harvard in the very first day, she said, now let's meditate. I thought, oh no, I'm terrible at this. Like, I was so disappointed. I thought, why did I come all this way and pay all this money to do something I was terrible at, right? And she told us there were only 2 rules of meditation. Focus on something repetitive, and when thoughts intrude, dismiss them without judgment. And I thought, oh my God, there's 2 things. I could do that. Like, I could totally do that. And so what she had us focus on was our breathing, which is the first technique I teach, is just a simple breath technique. And then on the inhale, we would think, I am. And on the exhale, we would think, at peace. And she had us do this for just 3 or 4 minutes. And it was so simple. And I love that she said, when thoughts intrude, not if thoughts intrude, because they're going to intrude, because every 3 to 5 seconds, our brain has something massively important to tell us. Yeah. I mean, it will make crap up if it doesn't have something important to tell us. So, you know, to let it just float on by. And I think that's one of the big misconceptions is, especially people who have never meditated before, they think they have to stop their thoughts. Now, if you've been meditating for 20 years and you sit on the pillow for an hour or 2 a day, sure, you get to a point where you can be completely blank in your mind. It's very hard to do. Give yourself a break. If you're listening to this and you got there, good for you. Awesome. Not most of us can do that. So, you know, it's about noticing the thought and just saying, oh, okay, I'm thinking, we're going to let that go. And what that trains us to do is be non-reactive. If the thought comes in and you're like, oh, I suck at this, I'm stupid, or you follow the thought, that's where you kind of fall out of the meditation realm. So, you know, whether you're doing the dishes as a mindfulness practice, whether you're, you know, spending time listening with your spouse, your kid, your partner as a mindfulness practice, it really is about that presence and noticing the thought and letting it go. And as you all are listening to this, you've already drifted a couple times and you bring it back. You come back to the podcast, or you don't, and you realize it's playing in the background and you're not really listening to it. This is what our brains do. It's choosing where you're going to put that focus. It's choosing of, oh, I'm going to just be present with this meditation, as opposed to, I'm going to let that thought go crazy. I'm all about fantasizing. I love love using visualization. I love using affirmation. But when are you doing it? Are you fantasizing when you're supposed to be in class? Are you fantasizing and visualizing when you're making love with your spouse? Or, it's like, when are you doing that thing? So picking the time, and I'm all about, let's sit down and fantasize 10 minutes a day. That's great. Make it focused so that it actually is beneficial to you, and always make it positive. So that's the way I learned finally to meditate, with the inhale I am, exhale at peace. And now I can sit on a pillow, and I do silent retreats with monks where I meditate for 2 hours at a time, and my back doesn't like it, but the rest of me does. And it's been a life changer. I really wish I would have known those 15 years ago, when people said you should meditate. I wish I would have known why or how, or, it changed everything. And now I like that I get to explain it to people so that they have a leg up over what I was trying to figure out all those time ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, when you're starting out, that we do that to ourselves, don't we? We create more stress in ourselves because, I suck at this. I can't do this. This is horrible. Yeah. And I'm just going to give it up. That's all there is to it.
Right, exactly. And that's why, I've had people say, I'm trying to meditate 20 minutes a day. And it's like, start with 5. Like, I would rather see you have like 5 pretty darn good minutes as opposed to 20 where you're sitting there going, oh, stupid, because you're gonna not come back to it if it's that hard. The same thing with people, I'm never gonna have chocolate again. Really? Because then you have it once and you go, oh, I guess I'm done with that. And then, I gave up wine for the month of March. I just wanted to see what it would do to my body. I wanted to lose a couple pounds. But we had 3 dinner parties where I opened a really nice bottle of wine, where I had a little 4-ounce pour of wine. I'm not in a monastery somewhere where I'm not allowed to drink. I gave myself those couple times with joy, with acceptance of, all right, tonight we have people over. I'm going to enjoy this wine with them. And then the next day I went back to not having wine. It wasn't a failure. It wasn't a cheat. It was a treat. And it's about reframing that.
Being able to give yourself permission to do things in moderation and look at the big picture. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I really love that. Abraham Hicks talks about the 17-second meditation. Have you heard about that? If you basically, it's clearing your mind for 17 seconds. And if you only do it for 6, fine. Give yourself permission to go back and do it for 17 seconds.
Yeah.
And then increase it to, I think, like 2.5 minutes or something. And if you can do it for 2.5 minutes of a clear mind, you can get more accomplished and attract more to you than an entire year of work.
Yeah, I love that.
And
that is so. I'm familiar with Abraham, but I don't listen. I don't follow his stuff. Her stuff, I guess, really channeling him. Does he give a specific technique to do that? Or does he just say, stop thinking?
Well, basically it is give yourself permission to clear your mind. So it's basically permission.
Yeah.
And become aware when thoughts come in, and like you were taught, allow them to leave. Just watch them go away on a little white cloud. Welcome them back when they're necessary. Right. But for now, this is my time.
Yeah, I love that. I use the analogy of, when the baggage claim, you don't grab every bag as it goes by. Those aren't yours. You don't have to pick them all up. You can just go, oh, that's a thought, that's a thought, that's a thought. And when you need one, like, I better go to the bathroom now, or someone's knocking on my door, or there's a truck backing into the driveway, then you can grab that thought. But until then, you don't need it. You don't need to pick up all those bags. So, yeah, that's the analogy.
I like using. That. Yeah. That's a great analogy. That really is great. So what other things can you tell our listeners for helping to relieve that stress that it just shows up?
Yeah, I think there's one of the big things is staying present. And I do a lot of studying with Eckhart Tolle at, Power of Now, and, he talks about presence. Everybody, I mean, a lot of people talk about presence. I think that's one of the biggest things. And because if you look at stress, it's not right here. It's someplace else. It's behind us in those things we're dragging along from the past, and it's in the future in those what ifs. And if you truly sit in just this present moment and ask, what is wrong? Nothing's wrong. And I love, he tells the story about, he spent a lot of time in Scotland, and there was a pub that he used to go to, and on the door it said, free beer tomorrow. And people were constantly showing up saying, I want my free beer. And the guy would say, no, tomorrow. I'm like, well, no, I was here yesterday. And so he's like, no, tomorrow, come back tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There's only the right now. Everything's happening in now. There is no tomorrow.
Oh, I love
yesterday.
that.
It's just such a great illustration, because all these people showed up with their mug going, okay. And it's like, nope, tomorrow. So it is really a matter of staying present. And there's so many ways to do that. Mindfulness and meditation keeps us in this present moment. And also just letting things go as it happens. We can always drag things around with us. I tell a lot of stories when I do my workshops and my speaking. I use those life experiences as an anecdote, not an identity. And Carolyn Mace talks about that too. We have this emotional baggage. We have this emotional currency of, how we identify with all those negative things from the past. And we walk around with our little name badge of, hi, I'm an alcoholic. Hi, I am an abused woman. Hi, I got ignored as a kid. Hi, my parents lost me in the mall that one time. And we identify with those negative things, and that becomes who we are. That's not keeping us present. That's keeping us locked into some past identity. And it's so hard to change if all you know is living through that negativity. Let it go. Take off that outfit. Yeah. Take off that outfit and just be present with this beautiful moment right now. Sometimes it's hard. We want to complain about the guy that cut us off on the freeway. We want to, drag around the past experiences we had. It does define who we are, and it satisfies part of our brain of good. We have something to worry about. It gives us that identity. If you know what you truly want and you can stay present in this moment and visualize this awesome future, it's going to be better for you to get that stuff that you want.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. And sometimes I actually tell my clients and my friends too, fine, I'll listen to you complain. Go for it. Everything. 15 minutes. That's it. After 15 minutes, let's focus on what is here and now. Yeah. And be mindful. That is huge. I love that. Yeah. So I have so enjoyed being with you. You're such a busy lady, and I appreciate you being on the Awesome Life podcast.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
And I understand that you have a special gift for our listeners. Yeah. Did I understand?
I do. So I have that little mini meditation that I kind of talked about, the I am at peace. I actually have a recording of that walks you through how to do it. And it's my favorite technique. It's my absolute favorite thing. It's been a lifesaver for me. I do it all the time, because the great thing about just focusing on your breath or doing the mini of the I am at peace, it stops the stress response. It stops the fight or flight response. And as soon as you concentrate on your breathing, it signals to your brain, hey, everything's okay. And when you add in the repeating of I am at peace, it's hard to you can't think other things. You can't think two thoughts at once. So this is why I love that technique. It's so easy to do. You can do it anywhere. You don't have to contort yourself into some position. You don't even have to close your eyes. I do this while I'm driving. Definitely don't want to close your eyes. I do it before I get on the podcast, before I write, before I have to have meetings, because it brings you back. And, that stress response has so many negative effects to it of communication and leadership. And we take more dangerous risks when we're stressed. We don't take responsibility for things we've done wrong when we're stressed. Our higher brain function goes out the window. So just bring it back to this present moment. And one of my favorite techniques, again, is the mini. So I thought I'd share that with all your listeners.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. And how can they find that?
I have the link for you. I think I sent you the link. Did I send you the link?
You did send me. Is that And that's on your website. Is that?
I think
No, it's just
it's a separate link that'll take you to it. Yeah, it's like a bit.ly link or something like
excellent.
that.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, thank
of
you.
course.
Thank you. That is so awesome. So how can people find you?
Yeah,
Because you are
absolutely. So,
awesome.
thanks. So it's kathygruver.com is you can find my books. My newest book on communication just came out. I'm very excited about that, literally like in the last month. So kathygruver.com, speaking things, books, all that good stuff. And then kathygruver.coach if you want to work with me personally. I do one-on-one and team and relationship coaching. So very excited to offer that to your audience as well.
Yeah. Fantastic. Fantastic. So being able to be aware and release that stress and take back control of your life, basically, by staying in the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's actually so fun is by relinquishing control, you take control. It's one of those dichotomy kind of things.
Wow, that's almost like a complete 180 mind shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 When you take back control, you have more control, but only over yourself.
Yes. Oh, if we could change everybody else, wouldn't it be so nice?
Oh, wouldn't it be great? But I did not believe that it was possible. And now I work with my clients to recognize that it is possible very easily to shift the way you are, and everyone else around you changes miraculously. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, unbelievable. This is, wow.
Yeah, lots of power in that.
We're powerful beings, aren't we? We just have to be aware.
Yep. Yes,
I
agree.
Oh, you're awesome, Kathy.
Oh,
and thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I know we will hang out again because we just have so much in same background and education. So cool. And thank you for introducing me to the mind body. Is it Benson? Institute?
Oh, yeah. Benson Henry Institute for Mind Body Medicine. Yeah. Herbert Benson is one of the rock stars of mind body medicine. Yeah. I've studied with some of the best through them. John Kabat-Zinn and Thich Nhat Hanh and Herbert Benson. I mean, just they've had everybody there. It's so great. I can't wait to get back with them in person. It's been a while.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Well, again, this has been wonderful. Thank you for listening to the Awesome Life podcast with this amazing lady, Kathy Gruver. And until next time, have an awesome life. Great. Thank you so much, Kathy.
You're so welcome.
Fun. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. My pleasure. This is great. I love trading podcasts. It's so much fun.
I know it is. It really is. It gets out there a little bit more, and I love the fire and earth. And
yeah,
I'll let you get ready for your next client.
Thank you so
probably much. Do you do one? I've gotten. I have to spread things out so that I can really get into it. I have my cards, everything else that I pull for.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
next whatever.
I over manifested. So yeah, no, I really did. I way over manifested.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm going to let you go and enjoy the manifestations. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.
You too.
Thank you
so much. Let me know when this airs, and I'll get my gal to share it out all over the place. So.
Sounds fantastic. I definitely will.
Oh, good.
Thank you,
dear Lenny. I so appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too, Karen. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.